everyone, welcome to Heart Shaped Box, the podcast. Hope everyone is well. I'm Adam Webster, and this week I have a band that excite me that much. They are the first band that I've played twice on my radio show, and I've only done 5 shows. So here we have, joining us, Tatiana and Aiken from Rage Doll. Hi guys, how are you doing?
All good, dude. How are you?
Everything good.
Too bad. Has it been a busy week for you guys?
Hectic. Very busy.
Yes,
Yeah,
always.
always stressing out. Yeah.
What's kind of like the day in the life of you guys at the moment with tracks and gigging and stuff like that? What's your average week look like?
Wake up. Well, Tatty just goes to a full-time job and cries, and while I try and get some like stuff done for the band, and then Tatty comes back from work after how many hours?
8 hours and a half.
8 hours, cries for a bit more because, you know, hard work, and then we start writing pretty much.
Yeah, we're constantly like, most of the day I'm not available to do anything. We can text or something, but that's it. And then I come home and then we're like, okay, we need to send this email, or there's this new track that we're going to work on. Have some tracks now like that we send off to the producer, so we're working on that. Gigs, just like sorting out. There's always something to do every day. So
finding that balance is always like sometimes hard as well. The like actual making money and then the band, But no, it makes us happy, so we just kind of carry on. So yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that, especially with like new emerging bands, that they actually have this full-time life outside of the music as well, that they need to, unfortunately at this level as well. And to be honest, at a big level within music, it doesn't pay a lot of the bills. It's not making as much money as possible. So you do need them second-hand jobs. So it's a lot of tiring, isn't it? How are you going to find with like kind of gigging and stuff like that then, with having a full-time job? Are they quite flexible with you?
Well, at the moment, we haven't had like that many gigs. We've only played like 2 gigs as Rage Doll, so it's been easy. But I'm quitting my job after this week, and I'm moving out of London, where it's going to be cheaper for me, and I'm not going to have to work full time. I'll just have a part-time job, so then it'll be easier to, if we need to like go for a week somewhere and gig, not a problem. Yeah, I think so far balancing work with the band has been fine, because there hasn't been as much stuff to do like that's outside the house. It's mostly like recording. We do all the recording at home as well. So all the recording or like writing, planning can happen at home. So it's not a problem with the job. But now that I'm quitting my job, it'll be fine. Hopefully.
Yeah. Or do I need to edit that out?
Say again.
If this comes out. Does your job know yet, or do I need to edit that out in case it comes out tomorrow?
It's okay. I told them. I'm proud.
We send them the podcast. That's how you quit.
Yeah, just send them. This is just a note to the manager. Here you go. It's my podcast. Yeah. So you're quite a new band as well, aren't you? So you started in 2022. Let's go back to kind of like how did you two meet them?
Okay, you take over. Tell
Okay.
this part of it.
Well, I was looking for singers because my old band broke up, and I was making a lot of instrumentals and all that stuff. I was trying to like find some singers who like would fit the track, and all the singers I've like what I put on the track, they were good, but didn't really find like anything unique or like a spark anywhere. And then I came across Tatty's Instagram, and then I slid into those DMs and was like, yo, do you want to hop on a track? Because I saw her band as well called Vixen X at the time, and the stage presence, like the aesthetics, the actual vocal style and the delivery was like insane. So I was like, yo, I need you to sing on this. Like, come on, please. But I didn't expect her to agree, and she was like, all right, cool, chill. So sent her the track, and she sent something back quite quickly, and I was like, all right, cool, this is really cool. Then I chopped things up, put things together, and we wrote the first version of Stay Away, our first ever track, and we thought that was the shit. We thought it was so good.
It really did. Like after I sent him the vocals and he sent it to me he sent it back, and I was like, wow, I've never done anything like this. Looking back at it now, it's like very basic, very simplistic for like what we're doing nowadays. Yeah. But at the time, it just like opened this like completely new door. and I was just like mind blown. How am I like able to create something like this online with someone that I've never even met? We haven't had like that many chats either. It was just like, yeah, send me the track, whatever. I was also in a phase where my band was not working out, and I was thinking of going like solo, or like having a side project that would be just solo, like my stuff and like some different influences from my old band. So I don't know, he came at the right time, messaged me at the right time, because then I broke up with my band, and that's when Rage Doll started properly.
Yeah, pretty much.
How do you feel like the restraints have been taken off you with it just being the two of you directing the kind of rather than having a band behind you?
A lot of respect. You know how some people say more brains are better than like more brains, you know? So but like, the thing is I couldn't put my words together, but the thing is I think just having just having two of us is great, because like not many people get involved, because sometimes that's just like just makes everything a mess. So like we know a vision and we're very comfortable with each other, and like nothing is out of bounds. So we can have the most weirdest idea. We had this track that we were making, and we put I put like a random sitar in it, and I was like, oh my god, what is Tay gonna think about this? And then Tay was like, yeah, that's so cool, and I was like, really? So it's like no one will be, there won't be any boundaries with us. So we're so comfortable, and we would try anything that we put out. So like if Tay has an idea, I'll obviously try. I would never like be like, no, let's not do that sort of thing. Like, yeah.
I think because both of us had been like in bands before, like I think both of our bands were like 4 pieces. So like when you have an idea and you're trying to convince 3 people of doing that idea, it's hard, because even if you convince 2 of them, one of them might be like, but I don't like it. So then you have to like be like, okay, well, if you don't like it, we can't really use it, even if majority of people like it. So I think it's very refreshing for both of us that it's just 2 of us. And if we don't like something, I straight up tell Akin, this is shit. And he doesn't take it personally either. He'll be like, you know what? Yeah, this is not good. Let's take it out. Same thing with me. If something doesn't work, he'll just be like, maybe let's do this. I don't know. I feel like coming from the experience of our bands, we have that like thick skin.
Yeah.
Like to accept the criticism, but also not take it personally, because at the end of the day, it's for the benefit of the band. I wouldn't be telling him that something doesn't work to sabotage us in a way. Like he knows it's, we both know it's for the benefit of the band. So I think because of that, it really works. It's easy to work with each other.
Tough love towards the band. That's it.
To say that you only kind of met up in 2022, so you've been only going a year, you seem to already have this chemistry anyway, whether it comes to like when it comes across on the videos that you've already done, like one for Fantasy. I've seen a lot of kind of like on your Instagram, you do a lot of kind of competitive, kind of friendly banter kind of thing. Who's got the best haircut? I think it was who had the best haircut, was it, or something like that? I can't remember.
Losses,
but yeah, like little thing. You must be quite comfortable with each other to be able to do that. Do you find that you tend to agree on a lot more stuff anyway?
Yeah, but we are best friends at the end of the day.
Definitely.
Yeah.
For some reason, as soon as we started talking, we really clicked. Even before we met in real life, we would just like send audio messages to each other. At the time, Akin was working at Heathrow at the airport. So he was like working at like 3-4 a.m. I was not sleeping at all because I was doing uni. So I was just living the uni life, like going to sleep at 7 a.m. So he would be at work sending me audio messages like miserable. I would be at home miserable because I'm just like depressed in bed. But I don't know, we really hit it off, and we just... it's weird. It always felt very weird because as soon as we met, we clicked. There was never like the awkward phase, nothing. We just like feel comfortable with each other, and yeah, it's really good.
I think it was mainly to do with the same kind of ambition we had, like the same drive almost. It's like when we're together, we have that purpose to achieve something. So like we got a reason for why we have to be friends. Otherwise, yeah, it's like it's all that. And like I said, like Tati was saying about Heathrow, and like when I was working there, I had to wake up so early at like 3 a.m. in the morning, and just had to go into work. And that's when my old band broke up, and I was like, what am I doing with my life? Like I should be like doing music right now. I should be like, playing on stages and being the rock star thing, not like helping people with luggages sort of thing. So I was like every morning just voice notes to Tati like, dude, we need to like make it, man. We need to work hard. We need to grind. We need to do this. And like we manifested it all during that period. So now in a year we've like we've achieved so much just because of the manifestation of what we wanted to do.
And we did get really lucky with the fact that there's so much like good chemistry and good vibes between each other, because I mean, I don't know about Akin, but I've worked with other people, like collaborated with a lot of people, like with other projects or like in songs and stuff. And it's hard. It's hard to come across like a natural, like not forced like chemistry when you're like creating something. And the fact that for us it just like came immediately, that's how we knew like we need to do this. We really need to like push this as hard as we can, because the connection that we have is very unique.
I guess like what we were saying earlier about there being too many people. If you're trying to please too many people, there is always going to be you're always on edge because you're always worried about sharing your ideas. Where I guess if you've got that chemistry already, it worked. So kind of going back a little bit before you guys met, then what was kind of like your kind of inspirations in music? What kind of made you want to be in a band? Should we start with Akin?
Okay. I think it was like, well, I picked up a guitar when I was like 11. So my mum made me play like classical guitar. So I was like this big chubby kid with a little classical guitar. It was hilarious. And then I think when I went into secondary school, I had like a few mates who got me into like the whole rock stuff, all the punk stuff. So yeah, my first ever band that I absolutely like adored was probably Green Day. I think that's why I still have my strap down like to my knees when I play, because I'm so used to it. But yeah, I think it was Green Day that I really looked up to. And then later on, I got into these heavier bands. So like all the metalcore, like Oscar Alexandria and like Pierce the Veil, all the emo bands, you know, when I was 15, 16. And then yeah, just gradually just like I just became me. As soon as I hit like, you know, I'm up here now playing guitar like for everything I want to do, basically. Yeah.
How was your parents
Oh,
letting you go from classical to kind of like the emo grunge kind of
hate it. They
scene?
hate it so much. Like they're the typical Asian family sort of like stereotypical thing. So they wanted me to be like an engineer or a doctor, and I became this. So, but no, I think they've kind of accepted it now because it's the only thing I'm actually somewhat good at. You know, if I was a doctor, I would have just ended up murdering people. So I'd rather
Yeah, we're so happy you're not a doctor.
exactly. So I'd rather do this than actually murder people by accident. So yeah.
What will they? Do they come to any of your gigs?
No, they actually don't. They don't actually come to any of the gigs or anything. But I think I kind of found a
Not
validation.
yet, not yet.
Not yet. I found validation in like just making other people happy, like other people that actually like the sort of stuff I like. But no, I think it's more of a motivation thing now to like prove them wrong, sort of thing. Because like in my community, because like I'm it's like Tamil community, it's very in a box where like you can't break out of it. It's very like, oh, you have to have this certain degree, or like you have to have this job, you have to make a certain income. So like doing something that genuinely makes you happy is very just like it's really looked down upon, if you know what I mean. So I kind of want to just prove them wrong in a way. I think that's what my motivation is for this band as well. Yeah.
What about yourself, Tatiana?
Um, okay. I think one of the things that me and Akin also bonded was, again, because our background. I was born in Moldova, so like my parents are Eastern European, my dad's Russian, so also like they have their own like mentality, they have their own like goals and vision for their kids. They want to put them in a box. That's one of the things that me and Akin also bonded up, because even though it's very different, like Eastern European and Asian, but like still like the challenges we faced as like a teenager or like as like a kid, like in those type of households that wanted to do music, were very similar. So for me, I guess I started with, when I was young, I really liked, my like holy trinity was like Black Sabbath, Pink Floyd, and the Beatles. So I was really into the like your classic rock, like 70s stuff. As I became a teenager and I became more emo, I dabbled in the like metalcore and just like emo bands. Just anything really. I love anything that's alternative. Yeah, and then I started playing the piano when I was little, maybe 6 or 7. My mom put me in those activities, but it was like classical piano, it was like Mozart and Beethoven and all of that. Then when I like was proper emo, as a teenager, I remember texting my mom. I was in school and I was so afraid of asking her this in real life. So I just texted her like, "Hi mom, can I take like electric guitar lessons, please?" I was probably like 14 or something. To what she replied, "Why not classical guitar though?" Yeah, and I was like, okay, whatever, I'll take it. So again, I started with a classical guitar, and then after a year, I convinced her to buy me an electric guitar. I had guitar lessons for like 2 years or so. I did piano lessons, but that was not for me because it was very restricting. Yeah, and then I guess one day I woke up, maybe I was 16, 17, and I was like, I would love to do this for a living. I would love to actually like be creative and write my own songs and do it. But at the time, I didn't know anything about it. I guess I started quite late for what a typical musician would. I don't know. A lot of people, when I moved to the UK to do uni, I did songwriting. I was 18. I found that everyone around me had been doing like music and like been in bands since they were like 12, 13. And I was just like, I never even played a song in front of anyone ever in my life. So I guess that gave me the motivation to really like speed up the process. What like people had been doing for like 5 years, I had to do in like 2-3 years to catch up. And yeah, now I'm here.
How were your parents, and when obviously same kind of question with going
Yeah.
from that kind of classical, how did they kind of react when you came out and you were in bands that were a bit more heavier? Were they like, why do you like that kind of music?
Yeah, I mean, the first struggle was convincing my parents to let me come to London to do music. They were okay with me coming to London, but they were like, why don't you become a lawyer? Or why don't you like, again, doctor and all of that? And I was like, I don't want to. I want to go to a music uni. So I really had to fight for my place. I had to like scream. I had to shout. I was crying. Like it was a battle with my parents because they were just like, you're not going to make money from it. They're right. But I wasn't going to give it up. Um, so then they were trying to like offer me solutions like, why don't you like go become a lawyer, but then like part-time you try and become a musician or whatever. And I was like, no, it's either this or nothing.
Yeah.
And when I want something, I get it because I will die on that hill. So I convinced them. I guess in the beginning they were a bit like apprehensive because they had never like seen me like sing, or I didn't have any experience. Then as I progressed, they were a bit happier. My first band that I did in London, they were okay with it. They liked it because it was very like classic rock, like digestible, like everyone could like vibe with it. But when I started Rage Doll, my mom was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yes, mom, this is the real me. Just accept it." I think my parents are still struggling to understand that Rage Doll is me and not like some sort of like tantrum or like identity crisis that I'm
Oh, yeah. Yeah, same.
because they don't fully understand the extent of it. They don't understand the influences. They don't understand the genre, which is fine. I'm trying to like convince them on a daily basis, but they just think I'm crazy right now.
For the listeners who haven't seen the fantasy video yet, obviously you're both covered in a lot of blood and messing around. But how did your parents see that? Did they think that was?
God, we are crazy, aren't we? God.
Yeah, no, my
Like-
mom was like, when I was explaining to her the concept of the video, she loved it because I was like telling her it's Alice in Wonderland. We have these props. I'm gonna wear this dress. Beautiful. She was like, yeah, this sounds so nice. And then I told her like, and I bought some fake blood, and she was like, why? And I was like, because it's fun. So after I sent her the final music video, she sends me like this text that just says, you know, I like everything. You guys look amazing. The song is okay, but why the fake blood? Why did you have to include the fake blood? And I was like, you don't understand, mom. Leave me alone. It's not a phase.
This is not a phase, man.
Yeah. So, but I guess they have to get used to it because as we progress and we have more budget, it's only gonna get crazier.
It's gonna get worse. It's gonna get so bad.
Oh wait, now you said that, I can see it progressing. I think that draws you to you though. For me, when you're flicking through Instagram or you're going through social media and you come across your like the cover for your track Fantasy, and seeing you both there in the blood and in the suits and that, I think that really stops you scrolling. It would really make, so I think it's really good. It's really eye-catching for me. We'll talk a little bit about the music. So obviously we've touched on a few times that you started in 2022. Your first track was Stay Away. You've had a few tracks since. So we've had Reflection of You, Be a Star, and then Fantasy is your latest track.
Mhm.
How do you feel at the moment you've kind of developed from Be a Star, not Be a Star, Stay Away, to Fantasy? How you obviously said you
So
thought that was
fun
the best song
fact,
you'd ever heard.
This was quite funny, yeah.
fun fact is that we actually wrote Stay Away right after, not Stay Away, sorry. We actually wrote Fantasy right after we wrote Stay Away.
Our
So
second-
Fantasy was written a year ago. This was the second song we've written, but it's just only been released now because the video, we wanted to get everything ready for the video, so it took a while. So the last song we actually wrote was Be a Star, from the ones that we've released. So all of this, sorry, I'm losing track. All of this to say that, I don't know, the jump was so big from Stay Away to Fantasy. We weren't even expecting it because all of that happened like in the space of a month. So we did Stay Away, and then the second song we did was Fantasy, and we were like, what is happening? This has nothing to do with Stay Away. This is like hundreds, like we like turn it up like by 1,000.
Because like
yeah.
Tatty gave me complete freedom with it. So like I didn't have to be put in a box. I was like, oh, okay, let's put some trap beats in there. Let's just put random clap in there, you know? So it was like a track of like pure mess. It was like it was like a song on different substances that should not be taken. Yeah, it was just a mess. So but it just all just started to fit together in pieces. And it was the first time that Tatty screamed as well. So you know that really
Properly,
big
yeah.
in the middle of the track. That was like that was the first take as well. So we were like, what came out of you? Like, was that a demon? Like from Stay Away to that, it was like, mate, like I think we got something here. Like,
And we were recording this at Akin's house as well with his parents downstairs. So Akin was like, come on, do it. And I'm like, your parents are gonna think we're fucking crazy.
yeah, it was good.
But yeah, I guess like because I don't know. Yeah, we just unlocked something really quickly, like from one song to another. And every song now, like the writing process now, it's so easy. Just because like I feel like we've already done some really crazy tracks, even like some tracks that we haven't released yet. They're just on crack, you know. They're proper on crack. But yeah, we're just trying to find the balance. What's acceptable and what's not, because there's some stuff that we've done, it's a bit too crazy. I don't think the people are ready just yet. So we're trying to we're almost trying to introduce the band first and then let's release the craziest tracks, because you have to understand everything before you actually get on the cracked ones.
Like each song we've like released, we've had like a phase in our life. So each track like has a certain story about us, like and the period that we were in. And it was like it's quite funny to see because most of the tracks were just like had different phases of our life, and some of it was very depressing, some of it was great. Like Crave You, that era of that song was just like that was a strange one. That was a strange era. We were just like, what kind of era was that?
It was neutral. There was nothing happening.
Nothing happening on that one. But
like for example, for Reflection of You, everything was happening. Everything was shit. I was working. I was crying. My grandma died.
That was stressful.
It was bad. But I guess we really like with every release, we're really like living in the release. For some reason, like the song like manifests itself, and we're like, okay, we are living in the song right now. We just have to take it.
Mm-hmm.
If a major label came around tomorrow and they said to you, we'll record a new album, would you put Stay Away on it, redone and remastered, or would you just leave it where it was?
We would just leave it.
We just leave it. We'll just be like, no, don't come with us, please don't.
No, like it's like your first child, but like you don't really like it that much because it was your first try. But like you still appreciate it.
My first child.
First child, but you don't really like it that much.
No, we still appreciate it because it was the first one, but like we know we can do better, so we're just like, you can live, but like we don't want to be associated with you.
I don't think I've ever heard a song compared so brilliantly in that way before, but yeah, I love it.
Horrible human beings we are.
It's okay, it's part of the Rage Doll story.
So obviously your new track Fantasy came out on the 30th of June.
Mhm.
It's just like Be a Star. It got played. Both tracks have been played on Alex Holcomb, haven't they? You've had both. She's been a big supporter of your band on BBC Radio 1. Amazing support she gives a lot of new bands. So we always mention her on this podcast. What was the kind of inspiration behind Fantasy then? You said you go through kind of eras with each track. What's the inspiration and the story behind Fantasy before we get onto the kind of video as well?
Okay, as I mentioned, we wrote it last year, and I think what like really like pushed this song was when me and Akin discovered that we were both metalcore kids back in the day. So like for Stay Away, we were still getting to know each other. We were like, I don't know if this is acceptable or not. Fantasy was all out. We were like, okay, so we like Asking Alexandria. We like whiny guitars. We like whiny vocals. We like these like guys with like long hair, like singing in the rain. Let's do this, but let's do this better. So yeah, the like instrumentation part of it was very like connecting through like our musical taste from back in the day, like living our teenage fantasy sort of. And lyrically and like the concept is basically about me meeting someone and I kind of got obsessed with them and they became my fantasy. Just that, really.
Based on a true story, or
Yes, based on a true story. Always, all of our songs are based on a true story.
how do you come up with the writing process of it then? So you say that you kind of change you exchange text messages and stuff like that. Are you texting each other from work going, oh, I've got this verse, or do you wait till you're both in a room together and come up with something?
We haven't wrote anything well for a long time in a room together. We've literally wrote things like via like social media and sharing stems and stuff. But the thing is, it works because we just have like so much more time as well. So when 'cause we both don't have time, we both are busy, and Tatty's always working as well. So when I got time, I make the instrumentals and I send it over to Tatty. When Tatty actually has time, Tatty will do it in her own time, and that process is actually really like healthy and good. So we don't overwork ourselves and stress each other out.
Yeah,
But
and I think it takes away the pressure as well because some of the times that we try to be in the same room, things don't always come straight away, and then I feel the pressure, and I'm like, oh, why isn't this lyric coming out? But then when I'm on my own, I can take just like 5 hours to think of something, and then I'll just send Akin what I actually want to send him. Yeah, I think for now, because of time limitation, it works for us to do it online, and when we actually see each other, we're like doing something fun or like going to a gig and just like taking our heads off the work. Yeah, for so far we've done it online and it works like that. Yeah.
And you touched on earlier as well. Do you record? Have you recorded all of your songs in Akin's bedroom, or?
pretty much, yeah. So
Yeah, and in my bedroom, then I got a mic and now I record all of the vocals in my room.
so everything's just
So that's-
everything's all programmed drums and stuff, so we don't have to faff around with a drummer. So it's like it's just easy, and then we send it off to a mix engineer called Bruce Wintle, who's amazing, great guy, and he mixes
Great
all of
guy,
us.
he just got an award.
He just
Heavy
got an award,
award.
so yeah. He's a great dude, and he's the most loveliest guy you'd ever meet as well. So yeah, we send it off to him. He does his thing, and then yeah, then the final product comes into our hands, and it's like because when he mixes it, it's like a whole new life to it, and he makes it like something that we just don't expect because we have this vision of the song as a demo, and when we give it to him, he just enhances it, and we're like, whoa, how did that happen? It was great. So we've got a good little team going, and it's really nice.
Yeah.
So we touched on it earlier as well with the fantasy video. Whose brainchild was that? Was that mainly you, Tatiana, on that kind of? Because you were saying you text your mum telling her the kind of description. Where did that come from? Was it Alice in Wonderland obsession, or?
Yes. When I was growing up, I was obsessed with Alice in Wonderland. Like I've watched every adaptation, read the book. Like I have like multiple copies of the book back in my mom's house, like in Portuguese and Russian, like from like 71, from 99. I'm just everything that's Alice in Wonderland, I'm just like, I don't know. It really speaks to me. And I've always wanted to like write like a whole album or EP based on a book, but I just thought let's start with like a concept first. So when we wrote fantasy, I just thought this is really my opportunity to live the Alice in Wonderland fantasy, because it's a good song. Like it I don't know, it matches somehow. For in my head, it just like matched. I was just envisioning this like gore, horny Alice in Wonderland. So yeah, that was it. Shut up.
I like the concept. Maybe a concept album of Alice in Wonderland. It's interesting. One of I used to love the song White Rabbit, you know, by Jefferson Airplane, and that's obviously the story of Alice in Wonderland, and the trippy kind of thing is it is an interesting story, and I can see why many people get inspired by it, because you can take it in so many different aspects of life, whether it's be, you know, a hallucinogenic kind of side of life, or whether it's down to just, you know, purely losing yourself into a fantasy lifestyle, isn't it? So I can see why a lot of inspiration gets taken from it. What's kind of like the next track for you guys? When are you looking at getting a new one out?
So we're working on it right now with Bruce. Maybe it'll take us like another month or so to get everything ready for it. Ideally, maybe by the end of the summer, maybe like end of August or so. Yeah. Because right now we're kind of practicing for gigs and doing some live stuff, getting like live stuff together, because after September we're gonna have so many gigs. So yeah, we're currently working on the next tracks, but hopefully by the end of the summer.
Yeah, be a good track. It's really like it's different. It's different.
Very different.
So it'll be cool, fun.
What can Rage Doll fans that are already listening to you guys expect then?
We've got fans
from.
That's insane. So what was the question? I got distracted.
So Rage Doll fans already, what would they expect from the new track? Is it going to be similar, or are you going to go take us up another new path?
It's more on crack. It's just each section is like different. It's like you don't know what to expect, and I think with Tatty's vocal style as well, and this vocal delivery for this track is insane. There's a lot of different like dynamics, and it's crazy. Like I feel like I can only describe it if you hear it. If I can't just describe it right now, it's very hard. But
it's different. But like when you hear it, you'll be like, yeah, this is Rage Doll, because it's all the Rage Doll elements, but it feels very different. And when we were like, now we've written maybe like 2-3 songs in the same like
niche
not even genre, but like in this new like direction we're going. So they're gonna be like packaged together in a way.
Yeah.
Because our previous songs that we've released now, it was a lot of like experimenting, trying to find our sound. We found the direction now, so we just want to like get deeper into it, like as deep as we can.
Finally kind of find our sound now, so yeah, just want to set it in stone and see what happens.
But yeah, it's hard to describe, but yeah, you'll hear it.
For new fans who are listening to this podcast now and might move away to go and listen to you guys, hopefully after the podcast, how would you describe your music? If I was going to write an advert for the podcast and describe your music, what would the tagline be?
That's so hard.
That is very hard.
Adam, man, come on. Like,
sorry, I don't want to.
I would describe it as brain melting.
Horny crack music.
Horny crack music.
That's what just came into my head. That's the only 2 words I just came.
Well, not only horny. I feel like it's horny suicidal crack music.
Why would you have to suicide? Okay, fine, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, because we're depressed. You know what I mean? No, it's hard. It's hard. Like every time people ask us like what the band is, we just don't know. It's hard because we're experimenting with so many things. It's hard to put it in a box per se. So this is a question that I would ask you, Adam, because like obviously
that's true. Yeah.
Because you like work with like music, like on your podcast and on your show. Tell me like 3 genres or 3 words that would describe our music.
Adam's feeling the
heavy. There's kind of progressive in there, isn't there? You've got your prog rock a little bit. I can't think of a third one, but if I was going to put you in with people, if I was going to make a playlist today of bands similar to you guys, I'd put you in with kind of like newer bands like Lake Malice, Knife Bride, bands that are kind of like you said, they can't be pigeonholed into a certain genre, but they're all trying and pushing boundaries on each of their tracks. You know, Knife Bride are another band that I've played a couple of times on the radio show, and their songs each sound very different. But yet again, you come back and you can see a Knife Bride song there, if that makes sense. And same with Lake Malice. So I'd probably say it's there. You're very experimental, heavy, progressive rock kind of band, but like you've just pointed to the fact that you make each song with different eras of your life. I could be saying something completely different if we came onto this podcast in a year's time, because I'm going to guess that it would depend on your life and where you are at.
Yeah.
Is what going to take us on.
Well, one thing that we agreed with each other is we're not going to restrict ourselves. Like, you know, if in 10 years we want to do like a country album or like some like mainstream generic pop stuff that has nothing to do like with guitars or like heavy drums, we're going to do it. So I think that's what Rage Doll is about. It's not in a box. For now, it's this like heavy, angry Rage Doll machine. But it can change, because what if, like, you know, one day we wake up and it's all like flowers and it's beautiful, peace and love. We might do that. So you'll never know what to expect from us.
Might, however, go through another pandemic, be locked away for 2 years, and you might hate life and bring out something completely more angrier and more
metal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so I can see where you're going with this project, and I think that's what excites myself and people I spoke to that talk about Rage Doll. You know, it's getting noticed. You've got gigs wise, you did say you've got quite a lot of gigs coming up, planned to come up. I've got you down for one, which is your support of Attila on the Underground of London.
Still fangirling over that. Still fangirling. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, we kind of lost our heads over this. Like, we only found out like a week ago or something. So we had in total like 2 weeks to prepare for this. So we're really like, every day we're just like, we need to prepare. This is the biggest gig of our lives. I mean, this is our third gig ever, and we might be playing for like 500 people, which is insane.
So yeah.
Plus Attila has been like a band that we kind of bonded over, because when we were teenagers we used to listen to it. It's very like edgelord music, but we kind of like it, so no shame in the game. It's gonna be it's very exciting for us. It's a very iconic venue in Camden as well.
Always wanted to play that venue.
So yeah, just we weren't expecting to play a gig this big, like with like less than a year of the band existing.
It's early, yeah.
It's just crazy. But yeah, we have this gig which is in less than 2 weeks, and then we got a couple later on which we can't reveal just yet. But there is one that I can promote now. On the 27th of October at the Finsbury in London. It's gonna be a free gig, so no one like has the excuse to not come. We're gonna be supporting our friend Priestess for her album launch. You should actually check her out, Priestess Tunes. So that's one to look for. It's in London and it's gonna be free, so should be crazy. It's close to Halloween time as well, so we might do like a little team party going on. We're gonna get our like fantasy outfits on, so you know.
Always fun. Yeah.
Are you looking at gigging? Is that in the process further up north and stuff? Are you heading up towards my end of town, Liverpool, Manchester, that area?
Yes.
Yes, actually, yeah. We can't reveal too much though. That's the thing. I think we're playing. Oh, actually, no. I need to let it out. Then I'm not going to let it out. I can't.
No, basically, we do want to play. We do want to play all over the UK right now. Again, it's just the logistics of it, the time, the money. We're trying to like maybe like invest in a van or something. You know, there's just a lot, because going by a train is not gonna. We're just gonna lose too much money. So we're trying to like start local and like around London, and then like get it all together to actually go on a proper like mini UK tour. Like maybe like pair up with another band and just do that. Hopefully like this year, but at the beginning of next year, definitely.
Yeah, it's a thing that I've noticed since I've done this podcast, is kind of the expense that goes into kind of gigging and going further afield from where you're based. Because obviously, yeah, we don't realize obviously hotels. If you want to stay in a hotel, that's going to cost you. You've got to get your gear up there. I guess it's easier for you guys because there's just the two of you. So what do you do? Get kind of for the shows, get people to come in and do the drums, or do you use it as a backing track? Or
We've got a drummer called Ethan who drums for us. He's a great guy. Yeah, he's the most loveliest guy as well. And like
Everyone you mentioned, you're like, he's a great guy. He's a great
oh,
guy.
the people around us are so lovely. Like I love them to bits
Yeah.
and they help us out so much. And like I appreciate all of them. It's just yeah, he's great. He's absolutely great. And he's been like since the start of the band, he's kind of just like when we looked into the live stuff, he's always been around us and he's always spot
He's
on.
only turned 19 as well, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
He's just like
Sick drummer. He's always on
really
the
good, and he's really like committed. So we have him as like full time, not full time, but like he is part of the band. He's just not involved in the writing process and all that. But in terms of gigging, we have him always as a drummer.
And we're playing to backing tracks as well, so like he has to be spot on with that metronome while playing to backing tracks, and he never really misses a beat. And yeah, and it's easy. It's just a 3-piece, so like like you said, like with the gear and stuff, it is very easy, and we don't have to lug around a bass amp and all that stuff. See what the bass player
The
is.
biggest challenge will always be right now, like money wise, everything is just expensive. Like for this gig with Attila, we're trying to sort out some merch because it would be nice. But we like, for example, contacted some places. It's like 500 quid to get like, I don't know, 40 t-shirts done. And I'm like, how are these like smaller bands are able to do this? Like it's impossible.
So hard, yeah.
So it's just like, it's a slow process. Everything is just a lot of patience and a lot of.
I feel like if we had the budget, we would just go like, phew. We'd be like, oh, we know what to do. Let's just do it, sort of thing. But now we just kind of wait around, save money up, and yeah, and that's the most brutal.
Yeah. There's a lot of plans. There's a lot of like things we want to do. It's just slow.
Very slow.
but to be honest with you, you know, for a year, you've been in Rage Doll for a year, and already, you know, you've had some amazing tracks out. You've had some brilliant kind of recognition from high up in the industry with, like, as I said earlier, Alex Holcomb and BBC Radio 1 and stuff like that. And obviously you've been playing on my show twice, so that's a lovely recognition as well.
First podcast ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm honoured, to be honest. I'm quite honoured. Thank you. But yeah, so you are, you know, a year, you are already quarter of the way, if not halfway there, of proving your parents wrong and doing and following that. You know,
it just doesn't feel like it. Like we never like settle for anything, so we're like, no, we need to keep going. Let's keep going. So we do need to like take a step back and realize what we've done. We don't really do that often, but because we're always grind. So yeah, no, it is quite cool how like in a year.
It is very impressive because I feel like with my old band, I was in that band for 3 years. We didn't get as much done as I have done in like the past year with Akin. So it's just crazy if everyone is in the same mindset and everyone's actually like putting in the work, it's crazy how much you can do. And as mentioned, if we had like the money or like more time, we could have done like so much more, because we're just like, our brain is always like thinking about the band. Everything we do is like plot. We're just constant. Every time we talk, we're just like, we need to do this, like all the time. Like hype machines.
Fully.
all right, before we go on to kind of like the final stage of the podcast, the up close and personal, I just want to ask you one kind of final question of this was, what's the dream future for you guys? What do you want to envision? Let's as you said earlier, like manifest that kind of happy environment the goal that you want to achieve. Where do you want to go? What would be the ultimate dream?
We want to say Akin?
I think just making a living off of music. So we'd have to work almost, just do this full time, and that's one of the biggest things. And like just making friends, playing shows, festivals, and everything. Just having fun, you know, not being tied down to a 9-to-5 job where like you're just going to be depressed about, oh, I could have done this or I should have done that sort of mindset. But just keep going and just keep having fun with it. Enjoy the process. I think that's
just like every other band. We're just dreaming of being able to support ourselves through our career, just to like have the time and keep doing what we want, because yeah, if we had more time and we had like, yeah, it could just be so much better, so much more. I think, yeah, the dream really is like tour the world, see the world, like meet people, make fans, just I don't know, enjoy life because life is so shit. Like the life is so bad. Like the state of the world is bad. So probably the only thing that could ease our lives would be really just immerse ourselves in the music and just
Like,
feel
yeah,
the
we
song.
don't want to be like filthy rich or anything. It's just,
Yeah, that's
you
not
know,
the goal.
that's not the goal. We just want to have fun. Yeah, like Tate was saying, just have fun with it.
I just want to be able to like not be homeless through my music. That would be amazing.
That'd be great. Yeah, that's a goal.
Okay, so we'll go to the up close and personal now to finish the interview off. I'll start us off with an easy question to start off with. If Rage Doll could collab with one artist on a track, who would you have?
But there's so many.
Can I just say it? You know who I'm gonna say.
What you
They
gonna
have to be alive as well. You can't do a dead one. I'm not
Yeah,
having.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Kim Dracula.
Dracula.
Oh, okay, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, you know about Kim Dracula?
Yeah, yeah,
Kim Dracula is great. Fucking great.
yeah.
We love him.
That'd be amazing. That'd be so good.
Would you be the same with that one, Akin, or would
Yeah,
you choose
probably.
someone else?
I'll probably say Kim Dracula and probably Bring Me the Horizon because I feel like they're on with their newer stuff. I feel like they're on the same wavelength as us, where it's like just mess, just like absolute randomness. So I think that'll be quite funny.
But even better, Rage Doll featuring Kim Dracula featuring Bring Me the Horizon on the same track. That's the
Oh,
that's that's the dream.
That's the dream. Yeah, yeah.
I always would. I've always liked Bring the Horizon. Drown for me is one of it's a song that's meant so much to me. As listeners on the podcast, I know I've had my illnesses over the last few years, and it was a song that kind of set me through depression and stuff. So I've always had a bit of a soft spot for Bring Me Horizon. However, when I went to download, and they obviously headlined that, they went from me liking them to me being obsessed with them now. They were so amazing live. They are incredible.
So good.
It's crazy to see that many people also loving them because it really shows that there is like a community and a market for alternative music.
Yeah.
This could take over the world because when I saw the videos of that crowd, it's a massive crowd. It's a massive crowd, and everyone was singing their words. It's incredible.
I know a lot of people are against them as well because they're collabing with these pop artists or these rappers, but like that's what's going to make like rock music back to
Yeah,
mainstream
yeah.
again.
They're spreading the word.
So many people are gatekeeping this stuff, and it's like, no, just let it go, let it be free. It's
Many keepers, and it really irritates me. One of the things is when I started Heart Shaped Box was I talk about all kinds of music. My podcast and my radio show is normally geared more towards the heavier side, but I will post about solo artists who are acoustic, about pop bands if I like them. If I love music, and that's the thing for me is if you love music, you love music, and it's going through that era of your life or that moment in your life and different things, and you can't be closed off. And some of the best collaborations have been where it's been two different genres.
exactly.
You know,
Exactly. I think
Yeah,
there's a
people-
lot of people in the scene that are very like they're restricting their own brains by like, no, I only like metal or I only like this sort of stuff. But there's a whole different world that opens up when you start like welcoming other types of music. Same thing like being a musician. If you're just in that box of like, I'm gonna make classical rock,
Mhm.
you're restricting yourself. It's not. Yeah.
and you get I ask another question in a second on the up close and personal, which will kind of go into this. But when if you would just listen to that one artist for the rest of your life, you'd get very bored if they just stuck to the one genre. You look at the Beatles, for example, and in their short space of time, they covered so many different genres and went up so many different garden paths with their music that they're actually. You think they've been around for so long because of the different thing, but they were only around for not even 10 years, and that's where your restriction, and that will lead me into the next question: is if you could only listen to one artist for the rest of your life, who would it be?
Oh no.
Possible.
Oh.
All other music's gone. It's gone. You can only listen to just one person or one artist. So, you know, These are the hard questions, aren't they now?
Yeah, you're just gonna have like 30 minutes of silence right now as we think about this.
That's really difficult. Oh. One artist. Okay. Or okay. How? What? This is really hard.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say Kim Dracula again because I'm just obsessed with their music. Not only that, but because they are doing exactly that we were just discussing of doing multiple genres and things don't get boring because it's just like there's so much happening and there's like so many influences that I think like if I listen to it for the rest of my life, I could go a bit mad because the music is really crazy, but at the same time there's a lot of variety and I think with time there's only going to be more and more. Yeah, so I'm just going to say Kim Dracula for the sake of it.
Hakim?
I'd probably say a bit of a strange one, but I'd probably say Sum 41.
Okay.
Don't laugh, Tay. All right? Don't laugh. All right? No, Sum 41. Okay.
But I had Green Day written down before you answered, so.
I know, but I feel like with Sum 41, there's just all the albums are so different. It's like there's different like no, but they are though. They're so good. Sum 41 is amazing. And I'm like, I feel like I broke up with my first ever girlfriend with one of the songs. I just sent it to her. It was Pieces by Sum 41, and looking back at it, I'm like, why the hell did I do that? Like, that was the most like horrible thing a man can do. Like, I feel really bad, but.
Basically, Sum 41, if you're listening to this, take us on tour because Akin is gonna.
Broken up now. They got their last tour coming up.
Yeah, but you know how the bands are. Every like 3 years, they're like last tour ever, part 2.
Or like Molly Crew.
It's been doing the last tour for about 20 years.
Yeah.
It's like the DFS sale. It never ends. It's
Yeah.
I'll go to an easier one now because you should both be able to answer this fairly fast. But what was the first album you ever bought or downloaded?
Hybrid Theory, Linkin Park. What an album. Great album.
My World by Justin Bieber.
Really?
Yeah, I was like 7.
I never bought albums when I was that young.
Yeah, that was my first album ever. My parents bought it for me for Christmas because I begged for it. And it's a great album. I love like fetus Justin Bieber. He's just like sweet and in love. I love it. It's so cheesy. Like he's just like a tiny boy, like 15-year-old, and he's like, my world. Like it's great.
Fetus Justin Bieber.
Posters up on your wall and everything.
Yes. It would be like Black Sabbath, fetus Justin Bieber.
Oh, that's pretty. I can see it though. I can't. Yeah, doesn't surprise me. You spent an hour on a bench with someone dead or alive for an hour. Who would you pick?
Okay. For me, it would be Syd Barrett from Pink Floyd, their first singer, because I just think his mind was very fascinating. It's just a shame that he got mad that young. Yeah, because he was a massive inspiration for me. So I guess I would like to chat for him.
His album Madcap Laughs Again is a brilliant album, and that's very different from kind of like the Pink Floyd vibe as well. But you can also hear the Pink Floyd in there.
He was very, very interesting person, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. How about you, Aiken?
That's a really hard. Do they have to be famous?
No.
It can be anyone you want.
I don't really know. It's really difficult.
It doesn't have to be music related. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, cool. Because I feel like the thing is, I feel like if I meet my idols, I'll probably like end up not liking them for some reason. So but I went to a chicken shop yesterday and had a really nice conversation with this man, and he was working there, but like he was a very interesting guy. So I might have like sit on a bench with him, have like a nice little conversation with him. Weird answer, no, but he was genuinely a lovely person
I've ever had on this podcast. Yeah, I like.
No, but he was genuinely
the guy you met yesterday at a chicken shop. You're going to spend an hour over all the minds in history.
That great. He was honestly, there's something about him where
Einstein is rolling in his grave right now. Do you know what I mean?
Like, hear me out, okay? Like, he was actually lovely. Like, he was talking about like how he like he was making like this like little family thing with like this like it was random stuff. I was a bit gone as well. I wasn't, it was a bit weird. But he was a lovely guy. I feel like if I sat on a bench with him, I can dissect everything about him and actually like you can tell me his story. So yeah, probably that.
Akin likes the simple things in life.
I do.
Yeah, no, it's. I think that's probably one of the best answers I've had to a question on the podcast. If I'm being honest,
Think of anything.
ultimate question. You've got a festival in your back garden. Who would you have as your headliner?
Bring me. Gotta get Bring Me the Horizon on there.
When we
Bring the Horizon. Do you say? I can say.
Yeah, definitely.
I am not gonna say Kim Dracula again. I'm not doing that again.
So,
This series of questions, they all match, and normally most people will say the same person for all of them.
You know
Tend
what?
to be.
I would actually have, if Chester was still alive, Linkin Park, just because I was always like, I would always wanted to see them live, never got the chance, and I think that would be crazy.
that'd be amazing. Yeah.
I think this one is going to be the hardest question for you.
Oh, another one.
So I asked this to everyone. This is the one constant on all the podcasts. If I was to create a heart-shaped box, a music vault to put music in to save for future generations in case all music was lost, I want you both to add a song into this vault that you feel is important for future generations to hear. So what one song would you add? Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's just one song.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily a song that you
one song.
favorite
Okay.
song.
So
Akin, don't say Rage Doll.
I was gonna say Rage Doll. I was gonna say oh mate.
Okay, wait.
This always stumps everyone. I always apologize because I always say I'm going to send this out prior to the podcast because I always get like
These
an
are
hour silence. So. Pardon?
this question is really, really hard. Because suddenly I don't know a single song.
Yeah, no, same.
No, but we'll get there. Wait.
This is stressing me out.
Okay, I guess this song just popped into my head, so I'll just say this one. Patti Smith, Because the Night.
Tune. Absolute tune. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful song. The performance is beautiful. Lyrics are incredible. Like, I don't know, like the soul in that song. I just feel like everyone should listen to that song at least once in their life. So it would be a good like song for the generations to come. It's a timeless song, let's say.
Well, I can think of that. When I first started Heart Shaped Box, I started it as a kind of like on my Instagram. It was just literally me when I'd buy vinyl and I'd share what vinyl I brought, and I was like, and that's album, the Patti Smith album. I can't remember what the title of it is now called. That was one of the first ones I brought and put on my Instagram. Weirdly enough, but yeah, I love Patti Smith.
Patti Smith is amazing. Like, so good. Akin.
I'd probably say Uptown Funk. Because it's groovy. Like, think about it. If someone like listens to
Like Bruno Mars.
Huh?
Which one?
Uptown
Funk, gonna get it to you. Uptown Funk, gonna get it to you.
It's true. You know what? The future generation also need to have like a boogie. So
exactly. So they're gonna.
It's valid.
What's this? I'll probably say Uptown Funk then. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say something like the chicken dance or something like that after the chicken shop in honor of him.
I could have actually, yeah.
Guys, it's been absolutely amazing talking to you both, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you for making me your first podcast that you've appeared on, and thank you for giving up your time to come on to the podcast. You certainly can.
What's your beard care routine? Like, honestly, dude, I've been trying to grow one out, okay, but it gets all like nasty. Like, do you put like oil?
Yeah, it does. you have to get through the itchy stage, which takes about a week or two. If you can get past that, then it's done. Then you don't ever really get itchy in it. That I literally just
look like healthy and like full and.
I used to have it because I wanted the length on it. So down here used to be dead scraggly, and then my missus just went, "I'm fed up with this," and just chopped it off. So it literally was. That's just what it is now. It actually looks better. I won't tell her that, but it does look better since she's done it. But to be honest with you, just literally just letting it, just not caring about it, and just brushing it every day, and that's it. Yeah.
I don't mind.
But yeah.
Sorry.
I'm obsessed with Viking culture and stuff, so I always just thought I'd want to look like a Viking, and that's kind of the way I'm going.
That's the way to live life, dude. It really is.
But yeah, again, thank you so much for joining us, and for the listeners, go check out the new track Fantasy. Go check out the video on YouTube as well. I did share the video on my Facebook page as well, so you can go onto the Facebook and have a listen. You can also go back to this week's episode of Heart Shaped Box on Jack's Radio on Catch Up, which is links on my bio on Instagram, and check out the song on the radio show because it was played this week.
Thank you so much.
And no, thank you so much. And guys, best of luck. Hopefully we do this again in a year. And
I'll have a beard, I'll have like a full on.
Okay, how about every year we do this, so like we can like do a recap of our achievements?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like schedule the meeting now for like in a year's time. It's the 9th of July, so 9th of July 2024, same time we're doing this again.
Band breaks up.
And, and we'll be, and hopefully I'll be talking to you you'll be announced at most festivals, you'll be gigging, you'll be having new tracks out, maybe signed up for a record label, you never know.
Yes.
I can see it.
We can even do this in like real life. We can go to the chicken shop and like have a proper setup.
Sounds like, if we can get him on, we'll get him on and have that little chat with him.
You'll be great for it, Adam. You'll be like a proper you'll be a podcast from the chicken shop guy. That'd be sick.
I feel like just put an advert for the podcast is just to put like a little advert out for is to find this guy to talk to him. Because he's sat there in this chicken shop working hard, but he hasn't realised how much he's impacted someone's life.
Yeah, he's impacting Rage Doll.
Exactly.
No?
He's now on a
Did you tell him? Well,
did
you tell him you were in a band and
I told him my whole life story. Like we were bonding. Like he gave me like 2 free chicken wings as well. So I was like, mate, you got my heart. So yeah, it was great.
You sound just like me. My kids get so annoyed because I go everywhere. I talk to everyone, and everyone knows. I've always worked in hospitality up till recently. So I've always kind of like chatted to people that have been serving them tables and stuff. So I live in a small town, so it's everyone knows me, and the kids hate it because I just talk. And you sound just like me. So
it's fun. It's fun, you know.
Thank you so much, Adam. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Take care.